listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Good morning. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. With I'm also with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. That'll brighten things up a bit. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. God bless you.
Morning, Frank. What
Morning.
a lovely start to the day.
Oh yes. Now, what else?
Well, we've already had some.
Quite a way to start a show. I like what else.
We've also been hearing from the outside world. You don't want to go straight into that, do you? Do you want to go into that?
He likes to go straight in now.
Can I tell you something?
Oh,
first?
whoa.
I had a conversation with my, I believe the phrase is significant other.
Yeah.
And I asked her a question. I said, Kath, I've been thinking, I've got quite a few awards. I was thinking about getting a little cabinet for them, a display cabinet.
What did she say?
There was a bit of a silence. And then she said, I honestly think that's the worst thing you've ever said.
Why doesn't she like it?
And I said, well, I go to other people's houses and they've got things, and I've got, and she says, honestly, that's such a bad thing to do for our child. I mean, that gives all the wrong messages. I said, okay, I won't do it. So that's the end of that.
When you say you go to other people's houses and they've got awards...
I'll stick with the bin liner.
But I mean, Gary Lineker, I presume you mean. Well, I think for sportsmen it's kind of okay.
No, I've been to people's houses where they've got their, they got their BAFTAs lined up and stuff. I think, what are you supposed to do with them? I don't want to go into like Boris Becker thing where I'm hiding my trophies.
Oh, and you lose track of them, and then
and then when I go bankrupt, I won't be able to find them. That'll be annoying.
We don't want that either. If you do put them somewhere, at least keep an inventory, will you?
If you do put them somewhere, make it eBay, love. 74k, as we know, Paul Catamol got from S Club 7.
But do you think
not bad?
Do you think it was the worst thing I've ever said?
Oh, heavens no.
Daisy was nodding then, the producer. Nodding in a very overdone kind of way. I don't know, I thought it was... In a way, it's less pretentious to put them on show. Let me work that one out. Have you got a pencil and paper? There's got to be a way of justifying that statement. Anyway, there you go.
Well, you were spotted last night, Frank. But it's nothing to worry about.
No, okay, that's good.
It was in lovely cultured circumstances.
I wasn't at a cabinet maker's in the East End.
This is from Jenny Farley, who's got in touch to say, I hope Frank enjoyed La Traviata tonight.
Well, I must say I very much did.
Good.
She goes on, I spied him from my seat in the orchestra pit.
Oh, wow.
In case he's wondering, I was on piccolo.
Oh, nice.
Playing pitches, probably more appropriate to conversing with small birds or beckoning dogs. So the piccolo player spotted you.
That's because if someone says to me I was on piccolo, I'd assume it was some sort of social...
Right, yeah.
What's the word? Media?
Yeah.
Yes. I always want to say social network based on that film.
Yeah.
I know you do.
I always want to say it. I don't want to say anything else. That's lovely, though. Fancy getting
Jenny, the piccolo player.
From the piccolo player.
Jenny, the piccolo player. And that is a good instrument to choose if there's anybody at the age where they're choosing an instrument for being in an orchestra.
Is that right?
Is it?
Well, think of the logistics. Jenny, the piccolo player, has got a much easier journey to work than Susan, the double bass player. They carry their own...
Unless the piccolo comes in one of those those cases you get on baggage reclaim that are about 30 foot long, and you can't work out what's... Maybe it's like the full range of piccolos.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There must be piccolos based on a different key, had there?
I'm sure Jenny's
Jenny will know.
I know nothing about the piccolo, I must admit.
She'll be having a lion. She's a musician.
I have to say... people often mock me for going to the opera, but if you've never been, I think La Traviata at the Colosseum, the English National Opera thing at the moment, is a very good starting point.
Absolute Radio, everyone.
Cracking tunes. cracking tunes.
Where real music matters.
Love story and a bit of stocking top. I mean, something for everybody.
Perfect.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a suggestion about what you could use your awards for.
Oh, come on.
Are we okay to read it out?
Come on.
Keep it clean. 389 has said use your awards as doorstops, practical, and it makes it seem like awards don't matter to you. And they add in brackets when they kind of do.
That's quite old school Hollywood, that idea, isn't it?
I don't like it.
Do you not want
I
one?
don't like losing the heat out the room. And also, I think that is more showing it off than having it, because at least if I put it in a trophy cabinet, I'm saying I'm really happy that I won this. I'm not saying, you know what, it means nothing to me, but I'll leave it out. If you notice it, you notice it, you know. Like when people put things on the wall of the toilet, certificates and things on the toilet, in the toilet thing. I always smear them with my own...
Okay, let's leave it there.
Okay. I think that's what they're basically asking for. Yeah. No, I just think it's I mean, I don't have that many. It wouldn't be a massive cabinet.
No, you don't have that many.
No, exactly.
And also, as a person that abstains from the demon drink, you could have it set up like a Del Boy bar. You could have just loads of awards. Maybe some of them put upside down, like
the Perrier award is actually a bottle.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
That's lovely. Frank, how many are we talking? I'm going to say 8.
8,000.
Probably 10.
Okay, you
10
can't...
that I wouldn't put up. I don't think
10.
I wouldn't put up 90 Minutes is Lad of the Year.
All right.
For example,
You wouldn't.
No?
I don't think. I mean, maybe I would put up Reader of the Year as the ironic thing against all the others.
Oh, you should put up Rear of the... The thing is 10 enough for a cabinet? What you don't want to do is have to put 3 books in the
How many's
middle.
in Theresa May's cabinet?
Oh, very
No,
good.
but how many?
Question.
8, 12, 15. What is it?
Yeah, how many in the cabinet?
Probably.
Maybe I could have a shadow cabinet. So they're in a cabinet, but it's not lit, not illuminated.
That's
So there's just a sense, a sort of noir awards cabinet. So I'm not pushing. I'm not. You know, they're not floodlit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you have a sense of them there in the on the periphery of the dinner party. And if people are interested, I can always have a little mag light
Nice.
in
Lovely.
a drawer.
We all love
Yeah.
using the iPhone torch, don't we? Everyone.
Oh yeah, then we
Well,
can
you
use
could,
your
you could
iPhone
up,
torch.
yeah, have some nice. It could be
Well, the
uplit the cabinet.
smartphones are available.
Do we have to say that?
I think we have to say
Do you
that.
still have to say that?
I've been reading the manual this
Oh, have
week.
you?
What you
Oh,
can
how's
and-
it
what
going?
You can and can't say. I've just remembered the thing about smearing excrement on other people's framed goods. I just remembered now. That came back to me. That's in
Oh,
there.
that is a shame.
But I think you're allowed one slip as long as you move on and don't draw any attention to it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
677 has been in touch. I think I've accidentally kick-started one of my crazy text-ins.
Oh yeah.
Hi Frank and Co. Thrilled that you enjoyed the opera. Another difficult instrument to carry. The contrabassoon. Love Rachel, the contrabassoonist, but not from the ENO last night, though.
Is that like a stolen bassoon?
Like contraband.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what a contrabassoon. I mean, a bassoon is. It's one of those. Is it one of those?
Yes.
I don't know.
Come with me.
Is it woodwind?
Everyone
Is it in the woodwind family?
Don't
Which
look at
family?
me. Is it? Yes.
Is it woodwind?
Sarah's
our
assistant
woodwind
producer. I
correspondent.
think. Were you classically trained? In what instrument?
In singing and actually, unbelievably, the bassoon.
In the bassoon.
Oh,
you were
come
trained
on.
in the bassoon.
Here we go.
Contra?
No.
Okay.
The legit bassoon.
Frank, I like the way you say trained in the bassoon, not learnt to play. Trained.
It is trained in the bassoon. You'd say
I would
that,
think
would you?
so.
If next time anyone says to me I play the bassoon, I'm going to say contra. Or
Legit.
Well, what's the other one? Yeah, I wonder.
Oh, yeah.
But that's brilliant. Well,
Legal.
Kosher.
It's great classical.
I'm going to go the kosher bassoon.
Kosher bassoon.
Don't
Yes.
you get that thing when you see someone in the street carrying a carrying case, which is clearly some sort of classical instrument, violin, contrabassoon, piccolo? Don't you think? I bet that's an interesting person. And when
Yes.
when you see
I do.
someone carrying an acoustic guitar, I always think there's that bloke off to ruin somebody's party.
Yeah, I bet he can clear a party out.
Yeah, I think,
Or emotional landscape.
everyone's thinking, oh no, Nathan's brought his guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, get him drunk. See if we can get him drunk.
And I know we'll have friendship bracelets on, and he's had a gap year.
Yeah, yeah.
We know.
But if I see someone in, I don't even know what the box is, but you know there's a musical instrument of some kind in there.
Yeah.
I love a musician.
How do they make those cases? Do they get the instrument and then build it around them?
It's papier-mâché at first. And then,
Is it really?
No, I don't know.
Do you know what, Frank? If
They
ever,
put a hard shell on it, yeah.
well, Al, if ever I see someone with one of those carrying cases, if
Yeah.
we're calling them, I always think my handbag's going to be safe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Because
mean?
they'll have the Stradivarius. Yeah.
They might approach you
Makes
with a
sense.
dog-eared manuscript and try and get you to fund their symphony. I don't
Indeed.
mind that. I don't mind that. That happened to me a couple of times last night at the opera.
Did it?
No. But I tell you who was at the opera. Paul Cook, the Sex Pistols drummer,
Oh.
was sitting a couple of rows behind me.
Has he calmed down a bit these days?
Well, he's at the opera on a Friday
lovely.
night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know.
Lovely.
It's good to see him.
That was like when I saw Keith Flint asking for scones.
Where was
Yeah.
it?
I was
What,
on
in
a plane.
What, in the street?
No, it was it was in the plane.
That's the most avant-garde form of begging I've ever heard in my life. That's what I think. If I'm ever reduced to, let's not say reduced in the current climate, if I ever choose an alternative lifestyle of begging, or if it chooses me,
Yes.
I think I'm going to go for some more precise. Yeah, don't have any Rolos, do you, mate? I think you got more chance then of standing out from the crowd.
Yeah.
A bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. You don't have one of them Pontefract cakes. It's just fancy one of them. You wouldn't do that in Pontefract, obviously. They're all
it's a wash with them.
yeah. But down here, licorice, red licorice. Got any red? No, I don't want black. Got red licorice. Not all sorts. Yeah, I think that might be the way forward.
That could be it.
I'll remember that. Should it come around?
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I have something that's just come in, which is, well, it relates to the both of you. So I think it would be most suitable if I read this out. I'll begin. This is the new formal me. Morning, Frank, Alan, and the DME. I just wanted to thank, Frank, for the fairly new personal hygiene technique that has now become a subconscious part of my post-shower routine. After numerous weeks since it was discussed on the show, I'm still spraying antiperspirant on my knee pits before getting dressed.
Oh, there you go.
Keep up the great praise redacted. P.S. Alan,
Yes.
I had my dinner at the Ship Inn in Midfield yesterday.
Murfield.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's where
He
I
said
grew up.
Midfield.
It's a typo. These things happen.
Yeah, but I should have known that.
It's
Under
fine.
the watchful gaze of a framed photo of your good self
There
they
is.
have on the wall.
That's hilarious.
I think this now makes us drinking buddies. That's from Daniel Fortis in Dewsbury.
The Ship Inn in Murfield is a pub that I worked in during my teenage years.
And now your picture's on the wall. Now,
Apparently.
if you want an image of progress in life,
Yeah.
that's it.
You could insert the word slow into there if you want an image of slow progress.
And the watchful gaze, were they working there then?
That's amazing. I'm really impressed by that.
That is.
I did not know that. And I return to Murfield fairly frequently, so it's interesting.
Oh,
Right,
Frank, we should go on a little pilgrimage
I
there.
sense there's a mix of thrilled and also I wonder what picture it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bit of
That's
this
what I
thinking, Oh, God.
There'll be a denim shirt knocking around in it.
Possibly.
I hope so.
That's brilliant now. If there's any
all right.
other frame photos of the cockerel,
No.
Let
Or
us know.
Frank.
8, 12, 15.
I vastly preferred the texting about musical instruments. Than
Yeah, I might
photos
go
of
to
me.
Murfield just for smearing. That's great. Did I tell you I was in Edinburgh once, and I went. This bloke had black and white photos on the wall of all the celebrities who'd eaten at his pizza
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
restaurant. Did I tell you this?
Don't know.
One of them was Frankie Valli.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, Frankie Valli," and he said, "Yes, he came in here." And I said, "I bet I know what pizza he had." He said, "I don't remember what pizza." I said, "No, but Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons."
Yeah.
I said, "I bet I know what pizza he had." He said, "Really, I don't remember what he had." I said, "But he was in the Four Seasons." He said, I don't know. He's a very nice man, but I don't know what pizza." Oh. When am I going to get a chance to use that again?
No, he wasn't going with you on that.
No, that was desperately disappointing.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, on the Huddersfield luminaries,
Oh, yeah.
I met Sir Patrick Stewart at a football match a couple of weeks ago.
Did
Oh,
you
did
indeed?
you?
Right?
Also
Well, you
from,
kept that quiet.
also from Murfield.
Oh, is it? Well,
I
yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, we lost, but you could say that every week.
Well, 'cause
We
it's
talked
winning,
about-
though, meeting him.
We talked about how we were inspired by examples from sport in
Oh,
our
yeah.
lives.
Oh,
I
that's
like that
nice.
it's become we now with Frank and Patrick Stewart.
Me and
P.S.
me and PS go back a long way. I was saying that when I was having relationships rather than being in one long-term one,
Oh, yeah.
I was inspired by the great fast bowlers or slow bowlers who'd go in and bowl a delivery and get walloped for 6 and be disgraced, and they'd turn around and about 7 or 8 paces back into their walk back, they'd already put it out of their minds and was forgot about that. I was thinking about the next one and
Like McEnroe
doing their
Borg.
best for that. Yeah, it's a very good life lesson.
Yeah.
And he said he'd heard that Billie Jean King say that there's only one point in tennis, and that's the point you're playing at that moment.
Right.
And he applied that.
Early adopter of
Wise words this morning on
mindfulness
Absolute
lessons.
Radio.
I wrote to Billie Jean King. I wrote to her in.
Oh, that's one of your letters, like you wrote to Alan Bennett and suggested you write together.
But I didn't. I was young. I didn't know what her address would be. Well, I wasn't that young. But I just wrote BJ King, America. And I got a signed letter of Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
Can't work out.
Oh, no.
Can't work that out. So I went to the theatre this week.
Oh, he
Opera,
gets about,
theatre.
doesn't he?
Yes, I went to see Noggin the Nog.
Oh,
Do you know it?
Lovely.
not
Well,
really,
I
no.
do. I remember it when I was a child.
Yes, Oliver Postgate.
He was the Bagpuss man.
I don't know.
Yes, he did. I
Did
think he
he?
created Bagpuss.
Yeah.
I'm sure our
Did he?
readers will tell me if I'm
may
wrong, but
well
I
have.
think he might
And you'd
have.
remember that because the main character was called Emily,
Of course. Of course.
But Emily loved him. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was.
Many have heard
sort of-
that.
I was obsessed with them. Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I've even meant it.
And oh, please.
Always I've meant it.
Well, not always.
No.
Let's not go to the other extreme. You know what? I've seen quite a bit of kids' theatre over the last 5 years, and it's generally awful.
Oh, a lot of it is.
And I think it's a real. Oh, it's only kids. Which really winds me up. I've often thought, I wish I was wearing a backpack flamethrower. But Noggin the Nog, which was
Noggin
at
the
Leicester
Nog.
Square Theatre. In fact, they only went because we went
I
to
did
see
that voice
It
because
was,
that's how it was, Frank. In the cartoon, it was like a war reporter. He went, Noggin the Nog.
but it was because it was trailed at Alan's gig at Leicester Theatre.
I remember you going
was.
through and going, well done. I think I'm going to come and see Noggin the Nog.
What I like how is there was about 50 contemporary comedians.
Yeah, totally.
All throughout, Frank's like, I think I'll go for Noggin the Nog.
Do you remember they had a Dubliners tribute act? And that was, I was saying, you could have. Don't tell anyone. Just turn on. Anyway, so Noggin the Nog was brilliant.
Great.
Yeah, really, really enjoyable.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I got Buzz on his little booster seat. And
This is hashtag late review. Nog in the Nog was brilliant. I suppose
I
it's
was
a
more of
modern review. Isn't
Nog
it?
in the Nog
Not
was
bad,
much,
the bad.
was much better than Hamilton. And
Frank Skinner.
That is a fact.
Absolute Radio.
There's a poster
I
quote.
don't know
for
if
them.
they. I don't know if they can put that on their
That
posters.
would be great, though.
I don't know if you can do that on posters. Can you
I'd
say
give them a lot
things
of
like
respect if I did see
much?
that.
You know, if you had Chicago, could you say it's a lot better than that thing on down the road in your posters?
That would be good.
I don't know why you can't, because you're sort of saying. Sometimes they say best show in the West End or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I think you should be able to.
I'll tell you, Nog in the Nog, I thought was cleverer, more interesting, and just more enjoyable than Hamilton.
Crucially, very cruel. Frank, did they have the music? Because the music, we were talking about bassoons
They played. The
this
guys
morning.
were playing it live.
The guys?
The man had one of those. Is it a harmonium? Those. It's like a little organ, but it's got a pedal on it.
Well,
I'm asking Sarah, our musical.
Sarah will know.
Oh, she's looking
8,
confused.
12, 15. What does a
if it's-
I
harmonium?
It
think
isn't
that-
a
There's a
bassoon. She
description.
doesn't want to know.
It was a bassoon, though. The theme was a bassoon originally.
Oh, I
is what
feel a
think.
buffoon. Carry on.
What about there's a baboon that grabbed a woman's boob in the sun?
The accent makes it okay.
you see that?
does
Can you
it?
see- in
Well,
the
he just
sun.
thinks if he does a funny voice, it's fine.
In the sun, was it in the sun or the mirror? And the
I saw that.
headline was Graboon.
Oh, very good.
Oh, come off it. Please don't send in your headlines for that story because
No.
I feel they could become coarse.
Yeah.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So, did Buzz enjoy Nog in the Nog?
Oh, he loved
Was
it.
Oh, good.
But when we were leaving, he said to me, "I want a picture of the four men from Nog in the Nog." And I said, "Well, look, there's the leaflet.
Right.
There you go."
Give him a flyer.
Yeah.
Disneyland every day for
And
that child.
he said, but there's only 3 of them on there. And I said, no, and there was only, for some reason, it's like those, those football team pictures when one of the players wasn't there and you get them in a little box in the corner. You see that. They still do that. And I said, well, I'm sorry. And then he started going, I just wanted a picture of all 4 of them. And I said, what can I do about it? And this woman from the theatre said, they're still in there, I think, tidying up. So we went in and I said, look, I'm sorry, but there's only 3 of you on the leaflet. Can I have a poster of all 4 of you together? So we sorted it out. And I felt really proud of myself that I'd gone the extra mile.
I feel proud of you that you went back at Nog in the Nog.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's one of the greatest
Shove his-
instances of going back
Shove
ever.
his privileges, no bounds.
It's
well,
all
it
right,
was-
son. I know people here.
But you know what I mean? I've taken the easy way out too often. But
Yeah.
on this occasion, I thought, no, I'm going to get him his picture of the 4 Nog in the Nog people.
Good for you.
I actually got him with them as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But if you got a kid and even if you don't have a kid, there was a few old guys in there who I could see just like Nog in the Nog when they were.
Right.
If it's near you, go and see Nog in the Nog. It's top end. Absolutely. Hamilton, no.
Hamilton, no.
Nog in the Nog.
Yeah.
I
Yay.
might go and see it.
Honestly,
I'm not taking anyone with me. I'm just going to go on my own.
well, I'll tell you something. I've bought the DVD this week on the strength
Stop
of it.
it.
The collected Nog in the Nog.
Should I go and see the live event, or shall I just come round and watch the DVD?
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Strangest bro date ever.
Just give us a chance to get your photo up. I don't want you to think there are places that you've connected with where you're not fully represented.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Many have. Let's hear from some of those guys.
Well, we're talking about Nog in the Nog this morning on Absolute Radio.
Yes.
And you were
Why not?
saying,
Light review.
you were saying, Frank, that you would like to, in your review of it, you would like to cite Hamilton.
I'm thinking that
As
not
being
just
an
in
inferior
reviews, but
production.
advertising generally, you don't often hear them say, "This is a much better car than a Vauxhall."
Right.
I can't think of any kind of Vauxhall. What's a Vauxhall?
Cavalier.
Yeah, I mean that would be a strange thing to say, unless it was a very old advert.
No, she was saying you're behaving as...
I am being a bit. I am slightly cavalier.
Vauxhall Nova. What about that?
Yeah.
Is
What
that
I'm
still
saying is,
going?
you wouldn't
Corsa.
say it's
Corsa,
better.
lovely, Al.
Insignia,
It's better than a.
Vivaro.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
keep going.
I mean, we can't just think of cars all morning.
No.
Frank, Bernard has been in touch to address this very issue.
Not now, Bernard. That's...
What's that from?
It's a short story that I mentioned on the show.
Oh, okay.
Frank, Emily and Alan, I used to work in advertising. That's it. No, it's not. But now I'm a chiropodist. Yes, Frank. Anyway.
Can I just tell you that I once saw an interview with an American director, and they asked him the best actors he'd worked with. And he said someone like Charlton Heston, like a big actor, and then he said, and the British actor Bernard Cribbins. He's a fantastic actor. But sorry, he's a chiropodist.
This is Bernard. Yes, he says, anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Well,
Just to say, in the 90s, it was fair game to compare one product as much better than another. It was called, and there's a phrase for this, it was called knocking copy. So to say the nog is better than Hamilton is simply a case of, he then calls it noggin copy.
yeah, very
Being a
good.
I
I like that.
was
think
very
it is
happy
good,
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't better. Bernard.
Well done, Bernard. That's so it's called knocking copy.
Knocking
if
copy.
you-
Yeah.
Do they do it on the meerkat thing? Is there a hint there that it's the I don't know. Maybe it's illegal now. But anyway, noggin better than Hamilton. It's official.
Okay.
I'll tell you what as well. You know, I've been obsessed with Anglo-Saxon history of late.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to go and see Nog, because I think Noggin the Nog was my first real experience of Anglo-Saxon history, although it's about the Vikings,
It's about the
obviously.
Vikings,
But
yeah.
they did come over, as you may know. And so when we got...
Infamously, I seem to recall.
Yeah, so the next day was Mother's Day, and Kat said, shall we watch a film in the afternoon, Sunday, Mother's Day? So I said, what about Sword in the Stone, which is also set in a similar thing. So we watched that.
Good.
How was it?
Do you know, have you seen it?
Well, which one? Is this olden days Sword in the Stone?
You know, the Disney cartoon.
Oh, yes,
Has there
okay.
been a remake?
Yeah, I believe so. But
Has
I may
there
be wrong.
really?
I may be wrong. I don't know. Okay, so I remember this one, yes.
And it's the bit about, you know, they say whoever can take this big sword out of an anvil is King of England.
Yeah.
And nobody can do it, so it's just forgotten. And then this kid's looking for a sword, and he just pulls it out. It's I have a theory about it.
Do you?
Yeah, because I mean the idea is because he was ordained by God to become King Arthur, and that's why he could take it out.
Right.
But I have another theory. But the little red fairs.
Oh,
is
so
here,
you're using
I-
this as a tease.
It's a sword in the stone.
That Sword in the Stone theory coming up later, everyone.
Cliffhanger.
Wow.
Pretty good. Let's all keep them. Some people are probably going to go out and they thought, hold on, I'm going to have to hear this.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So, I think the Sword in the Stone was like, I don't know about if this, but every key I've got and every door in my house, none of them are straightforward.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Do you know you have to do that thing? Sometimes you have to lean on a door.
Are you
Yeah.
suggesting
And
you have to wiggle it just a
I
little
think
bit?
it needs a bit of a wiggle, the Sword in the Stone. It's one of those, sometimes you have to pull the door towards you, and sometimes...
Yeah.
There's one door where I have to go in with the key so gently, I barely touch it, and turn it like a feather. If
Yeah.
you try and be brutish with it, you'll never do it. And I think the Sword in the Stone was that it just so happened that Walt, the kid, just got that little wiggle that you need to get it out.
Yeah. He found the knack.
That's my theory.
Okay.
And then, this is my last Anglo-Saxon thing, I went to the
I bet
V&A.
it isn't.
I went to the V&A.
Saying, I bet it isn't.
I went to the William and Eileen Ruddock room,
Right.
case 13.
I'm not
the
familiar
V&A.
with their work.
And,
Very specific, this
Is there any relation
anecdote.
to Razor?
and they've got, I doubt it. And they've got Anglo-Saxon jewellery in it, and there's amongst other fabulous
Ooh,
stuff. There's
quite
a ring.
horrible, mainly, isn't it?
There's a, I think it's great.
Oh, it's horrible. Great
Really?
big brass cuffs.
Oh, that sounds good.
Well, if it's the same sort of thing I'm thinking
There's a
of.
beautiful silver ring with like a dragon on it, which was found in the river.
I don't like. It sounds
The
like the thing you
river?
buy online, Frank. I don't
Yeah.
like the silver ring with the dragon.
What river? Thames?
It's found in the Thames at Chelsea.
Really?
And it made me think, we have a series on here called
Whatever happened to?
I'll tell you what I haven't heard for ages, a regained jewellery story.
Regained.
You know when people
Oh.
say, I lost this ring and I thought, that's it, that was the end of that, and would you believe it?
Yeah.
It turned up.
People were always telling me those, and they seem to have got
12 years, and then it was down.
It's in a
the
fish.
back.
We had
Yeah.
this fish,
Yeah.
and we cut it open.
In the fish. Who's cutting up their own fish?
Yeah. Do you remember this very ring I'm wearing here? Can you see that, listeners?
Yes.
And I lost that. I was upset about it. And I played in a softball game once a week. And I turned
Extraordinary
up.
development.
I turned up the next week and I put on a mitt. You know, the mitt that you get.
Oh,
and my
yeah.
hand, there was a dozen mitts in the bag. I just picked one out, put my hand in, and the finger went straight into the ring that was just left in
No
the finger. of
way.
my
Oh,
mitt.
shut up.
I mean, come on!
That
It's
sort
the
of thing.
only, it's the closest thing to a psychic experience I've ever had.
That's bringing me closer to the believer end of the
Yeah.
spectrum than the
So
non.
I'm hungry if anyone's got any regained jewellery anecdotes.
Send them our way.
You know what?
What's happened to this show?
Bring it on.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
948 has texted. We'll quickly do this because I don't want to do loads of these, Frank, but I think you might.
Gulping.
On the theme of finding lost jewellery, my wife
I knew it was out
You
there.
knew it was out there. It's definitely out there. My wife lost the diamond out of her engagement ring. We had it replaced, but then 9 months later, when weeding the garden, saw something shining in a crack in the patio. It was the lost diamond.
I mean, how good does that feel, though?
Can I just say, So had a row and threw it out the window.
Yeah,
Come on. Let's be real.
good for you for
See,
bringing it to them.
I was thinking magpie.
People need a dose of truth in
Yeah,
their life.
they need a bite of the reality sandwich, and I'm here to serve it up,
I
baby.
was thinking magpie treasure trove.
Oh, that's
You're
what I like
thinking
about
of when
you.
Colleen Rooney threw their engagement ring into a squirrel sanctuary. Yeah, I love that. See, I find that story exhilarating.
Dear.
The feeling of seeing that sparkly diamond down there. I wonder what they did with it, because they'd already replaced it.
Yeah.
I should imagine they went straight to the pawnbrokers and got a load of cash for it.
We've had so many of these.
Oh, no romance
Gold
in it.
lockets, wedding rings, all,
You're right.
all sorts. Hey, listen, we cannot leave this morning without discussing one of our favourites.
Okay, you have to promise me that I have to have one more regained jewellery before the end of the hour.
Yeah, you will get
be
it.
easy.
Okay.
That'll be easy.
But in the meantime, let's go to one of our very own diamonds. What about the JC? Oh, I love the JC.
JC? GC?
Yeah, but that's her accent I'm doing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's how people speak in
I
London.
didn't know she
Thought it was
was
a typo.
Indian. We have a thing that people
A
who say,
hated
when you
thing.
do an accent, and people
Yeah.
say, oh, really? I didn't know it was Welsh.
Oh.
It's all right to hit them in the face, apparently.
Yeah, we don't like her. Anyway, when we last checked in with her, she was plummeting down a trapdoor
Yes.
at
that
the
was,
Radio 1 Teen Awards. And what happened now?
She didn't even get a tenner for turning up.
I knew you were going to
That was the bit of the story that we were most tickled by. I
Apparently,
would
she
suggest.
said, because she fell down a trapdoor. It was quite,
Yeah.
quite a moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. She said on this morning that she thought she was going to die.
She did. She thought she was going to die,
Well,
and
at
it
what
was near
point-
fatal.
At what point did she think that?
Wasn't there
Because
some...
the plummet, you'd think, would be quite short in duration.
Yeah.
To actually actually put together a thought.
To envisage your own demise.
I wonder if I'm going to... You don't have time to...
No.
Am I going to... Even that? Well, I don't... Gone.
And then she saw some staff down there working, saying, "Get her back up. Her legs are going to be crushed." Apparently,
How small were the staff down there working?
I think
it's the borrowers down there.
Did she fall into hell? She actually plummeted into the underworld.
And then was rejected.
Well, I just think
Jules Verne or something.
if we had one person on the planet who could tell us of their experiences in the underworld and really rewrite the book of what people believed, the fact that it was Gemma Collins.
That's the JC.
So good.
But what was odd is I saw that fact. She said she thought she was going to die and it was near fatal, and then confusingly went on to describe it as the best night of her life.
Yes.
I just was a bit confused.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it? Her emotional ride.
Now, there was the thing about that she was falling into machinery. She said, what people don't realise, I was falling into machinery.
Yeah.
And she also said she wet herself.
Did she?
But laughing.
Yeah, she was briefly incontinent.
Oh.
Yeah.
On stage.
Which I worry about that combination with the machinery.
Yeah.
Well, I worry about that combination with the two Love Island guys.
But what about? I mean, I'm glad that she was, relatively uninjured. Though she says she still suffers with pain now. But
Bruises, back pain.
Who doesn't say that when they're?
Putting in a compoke there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't suggest that for 1 second.
No.
But Gemma Collins, who's lived a colourful life, and God bless her, to have died because her urine came into contact with machinery after falling through a trapdoor at the Teen Awards would be one of the great showbiz deaths of all time. I just think that would be the demise to write home about. Wow.
What about when her mum was crying? She said, "My mum's been crying." I said, "Mum, please pull yourself together."
She's been very brave about the whole thing.
She has.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
245 has texted, "Frank, you do realise that the GC, Gemma Collins' mother, is actually called Joan Collins.
She is.
#truth.
I hate to say it, but I think that might be a bit of a big moment.
Oh, hold on, we got a big moment jingle.
Well, hey, I'm not... Nice.
Excellent.
Well, my birth name is Collins, so
Yeah.
could Gemma and I be related?
Wasn't someone spreading that as a bit of gossip?
No, that can't be true.
They were.
If she'd have worn that brown dress with the shoulder pads, she wouldn't have dropped. She couldn't have dropped through.
Couldn't have gone through.
Which we should say was Alan Carr's Halloween costume.
Oh,
Yes.
excellent choice.
It was a good choice.
I wonder if we'll hear from Albert Pierpoint's niece about trapdoor falling through trapdoors. She texted in last week about hanging. But,
For people that are new to the show, that is quite a lot of catching up they've got to do.
well, just trust me. It's
Just
true.
think that Albert Pierpoint's niece is a reference point.
Anyway, the point we haven't made is we're not just going back to an old story.
No.
There is new breaking GC news.
Do you want me to tell that?
Go on,
I do.
tell the nation.
Insider told The Sun, no less, after the incident, it didn't look as though Gemma would ever work with the BBC again. But there has been some peacemaking behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I love this.
We should say how she was
peacemaking behind the
talking
scenes.
about lawsuits and all sorts.
Oh, yeah, she was going to get
Wouldn't be the
Not
worst suit.
licorice
Wouldn't be the
waffles.
worst suit she'd been involved in.
She
lawsuits
wanted...
and all sorts. Bertie
Yeah.
Bassett talked about
No,
it.
she was talking about suing the BBC.
She was.
which
She
would
said,
have
"I'm
been
not
great."
backing down. I
Yeah.
can't."
She wanted Strictly Come Dancing out of it. That's what she wanted.
Yeah, I don't know if you can barter your way into these things.
Well,
can
it
you?
Seems you can.
It seems in a way you can, because she's got MasterChef. I think she said, "I want Strictly," and the BBC went, "Oh, MasterChef." She went, "All right." So there was some deal making. That's what they said. Some peacemaking behind the scenes.
She said, "I'll let bygones be bygones if they let me do Strictly."
She's an original thinker.
I worry that some of the best British deal makers have been wasting their time on this instead of Brexit. That's my worry. Like,
Do you think they've used the conciliation service, ACAS?
I think so. Well, they got Kofi Annan involved. I don't know who it was.
I
but
would.
someone has done.
I would pay £1,000 to be at a meeting where Gemma Collins turned up with the ombudsman.
Well, funnily enough, Frank, Gemma Collins once said on Celebrity Big Brother that if someone makes you a cup of tea, it's like they're giving you £1,000.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There are times when you really, really want a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Love it.
But
Anyway, the point is, she wanted flowers. She said, look, they didn't even give me a bunch of flowers. That's what she was upset with the BBC about. There's no acknowledgement.
if she'd have died, she'd have got flowers. That's the irony of it.
That is one of the ironies,
Well, that's the irony of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
I think she could have done better than Masterchef.
You think?
Yeah.
She could have done worse as well. She could have just got sorry.
I wish her agent had gone in harder and got her a 3-part documentary on the English Civil War. I love the idea. You know how Lucy Worsley always dresses up in her thing?
Yeah.
A shot of Marston Moor, mist, and then emerging through the mist, Gemma Collins as Oliver Cromwell. Oh man, the OC as he was known in his day. I mean, how absolutely brilliant that would be.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Gemma Collins, and the BBC, I should say, have denied that they did a deal to get her on MasterChef.
They said it was nonsense to suggest that this is in some way a form of compensation, and it was down to her suitability as a contestant.
Yeah.
I have to say at this stage that the Muhammad Ali documentary I did a little while ago was direct compensation for Heston Blumenthal climbing on my back.
Is that right? Yeah. That is good to know.
So I know these things go on.
Based on this evidence, anybody that did the jump on Channel 4 is going to be quids in, aren't they?
Man.
I mean, yeah.
They'll be hosting everything on
Big
there.
payday for them.
Yeah. I did think it was a bit odd when I saw the list of presenters for Civilizations. And one of them was the woman from S Club 7.
Oh, yeah. It's a shock, isn't it?
Have you seen that Civilization?
I haven't.
This is the new Civilizations, isn't it?
Well, it used to be Civilization.
Oh, did it?
to
Sorry.
Kenneth Clark. They've added an S.
I was
because
an S in a sort of Nan way.
In a sort
like
of
Marx's.
Progressive.
Cliff Richards.
In a sort of saying that it's not going to be like just, Western
right.
blah, blah.
Imperialism.
And
inclusion.
I tell you what's been great. I've watched the first two, Simon Sharma and Mary Beard. And as well as liking the shows and liking them, they've both got, the sort of teeth you don't see on television anymore.
Right.
It's like there's a simultaneous history of dental hygiene going on. A sort of an Easter egg, as they call it, in the show. They both, I know, I
call it Sweeney teeth, because they used to have a lot of teeth like that in Sweeney.
William Hartnell, I always think, the first Doctor had, teeth that he'd obviously got whilst time travelling into medieval England. But Simon Sharma, I know. I don't know him, but I was in Cheltenham and I went into there's like a smoking hot at the back of the Hotel de Van in Cheltenham.
Yeah.
And I went in and he was there smoking an enormous cigar.
Right.
Oh.
Simon
that
Sharma.
explains the Chaucerian
That would be the teeth, yeah. And if I remember rightly, Mary Beard has got a obsession with coconut mushrooms.
Oh, really?
Do you know those traditional sweets?
Don't know those. Oh, yeah, those.
So there's a new bloke on this week. I can't wait to see what the teeth are going to be like.
Oh.
If they keep that up for the whole show, I'm in with a chance of presenting that. The Fez has arrived.
Oh, has it? Okay.
So I was going to tell you about when I went on the One show and with my child's plant, which he'd planted himself.
Oh,
and they love things like that. So I went on and showed them that, and somebody dropped it and broke it.
Oh.
And I had to go back and tell him, and he took it quite well. Took it a lot better than I did. And 2 days later, they sent us a terrarium.
Did they?
As an apology. What about result?
Lovely. Very hipster as well.
Is it a terrarium?
So hot right now.
Don't know what a terrarium is.
Yeah, but that's because if you don't wear socks, you need a terrarium. That's a sleeping one. Anyway, there you go, story of how I got a terrarium. You promised me another jewellery recovery story, but...
I know, but there's so many.
I think we can do some next week. What about that for a suggestion?
We? Sure.
Come on!
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. I'm not Frank Skinner. I'm Emily Dean. Frank's had to leave because he's actually going off to see his son Buzz performing today. And Alan came out with a bit of a zinger whilst he was leaving the studio. What did you say, Alan?
Well, there was a conversation. I didn't even mean to zing him. There was a conversation about
sure you didn't.
all the different shows that Buzz has done recently, and I said, "Oh, he's on stage more than you."
I think you said he's doing more gigs than you
that's right
now.
Yeah, I did say he's doing more gigs than you right now. It wasn't meant to be a zing; it was an accidental zing.
Well, it was a good accidental zing. Anyway, you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Now, I wanted... Oh, actually... We need to give credit where it's due to Stefan Longden, is that right, Daisy? Who came up with a great big moment jingle for us. And I think we've got some, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we've always got Big Mo's knocking around, haven't we? Hi, one of my colleagues just dropped a Big Mo in the office. Hoover isn't the name of the device; it's the brand name. Hoovers are actually called vacuums.
Good Big Mo. I love
redacted,
that. Actually, I had one as well, Al, which is, did you know, this is from Chris Q, I got this in the week. I get my midweeks. You know, you get your Friday night trawl.
Yeah.
I get my midweeks. Did you know Professor Brian Cox played the keyboards in pop band D-Ream?
Did we ever?
Do you know, I'm going to give it another one. 2 in 3 minutes.
When people say that to me, I say things can only get better in this conversation.
What, when they say 2 in 3 minutes?
No.
Oh,
When they say that Brian Cox was the... I say things can only get better now, from henceforth.
And then you say your son's got more gigs than you at the moment.
Accidental zing. We've had a text from Andy Bush, friend of the show.
Shut up. I love Absolute Radio's Andy Bush.
Absolute
I love
Radio's
that man.
Andy Bush. It's Andy Bush here. I'm doing a baking class in capitals. He's doing a baking class in Leon C, and they've got Absolute on in the background. Anything you want baked.
Oh dear.
I
mean,
don't
carbs
know.
are the enemy.
Oh well, I don't agree. But I like.
So what are you going to go for?
I like those Portuguese custard tarts. Are they baked? I don't really know much about baking.
You've gone a bit specific in middle class, sort of Hoxton Bakery.
He
Just
asked.
yeah, I know, but just go Victoria Sponge for the man. He's starting out probably.
Oh, is that? Am I not at entry level baking?
What about some focaccia? That'd be nice.
Pardon?
It's okay, it's clean, it's fine. Al,
clean.
I want to talk to you about hotels.
Oh well, I'm always in them.
No, I know, it's not in a sleazy way.
Oh no, I didn't think it was.
But you're a man, you're used to it, you're familiar with a hotel, aren't you?
Oh, I'm always on the road.
Yeah, you're on the road. So I discovered a life hack this week. I'm going to call it a hotel life hack, which
Excellent.
is... I mean, I think it's going to...
I'll get
If
my
I
pen
was
ready.
a basic bloke, I would
ready.
say, mind officially blown.
Oh, well, that's the sort of person that I am. Don't hoover up my territory.
So, did you know that Hoover is the... Anyway, this hotel life hack was discovered by someone on Twitter. I know you're a bit of a Twitter refusenik.
Yeah.
You don't like the Twitter, do you?
No.
Okay.
It's a place for a row, isn't it? I'm not up for rows.
I know, but it's great. If you want someone to tell you that you've made a spelling mistake or you're a talentless fool,
Yeah.
I find it really useful for that.
I can do that by spending time at home.
Frank just has to come to the studio.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Can I say that when you took up the seats that Frank Skinner had previously occupied, you put his headphones on and said, "Oh, he's got very low ears, Frank Skinner."
He's had enough abuse this morning.
I don't know what that means, though, that he's got low ears.
He has got low ears. And I also then said, if we're gonna come full out and say all this, I said, I think my hair must be shinier because the headphones were sliding down.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, I want to tell you... I should say, I don't think I even introduced us. I was so excited to be in Big Daddy's chair.
I think you did.
Did I?
Well, anyway, we'll do it again if
It's
you like.
Alan Cochrane and Emily Dean.
Kills a bit of time, doesn't it?
You know me so well. I'm telling you about my hotel life hack. It's not mine.
I've got my pen and paper at the ready.
Okay, it's very 70s of you. I like that.
Yeah.
This is from @Oog. I don't know if that's their real name. Sounds a bit nog in the nog. But they revealed a genius discovery.
Right.
Wait for this, Al. I think I should find some sort of a jingle for this, don't you? What about this?
Hear ye.
Yeah?
Hear ye.
Thanks for providing us with the lyrics there. I like
Got
that.
tinnitus now.
So, yeah, you're going to get compensation now from Absolute Radio.
good.
You might end up on Absolute 90s. What you do is you can use any card. You don't have to use the room key card to activate the power switch by the door.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? You knew that?
Oh, I'm afraid I did, yeah. I knew that.
Is this an idiotic eureka moment for me then?
No, I think...
Did you know this?
Yeah, I did, yeah. And also they
Do
sometimes
you know that
give
makes
two
you
keys.
at least 42% more attractive in my eyes?
Well, it's all about incremental improvement for me. I'm like a sports science guy.
But this was extraordinary news. Can I get some facial expressions from that? Yeah, both. They didn't
Right.
know. They didn't know.
I think people know that. I stay in a lot of hotels, so
You're a hotel kind of guy. Well, I was just really shocked to hear it because you can use any card. So that means you can charge your phone while you're downstairs, for example. Because sometimes the power sockets go off.
Yeah, it does.
You seem really disappointed by my revelation.
I was slightly confused by the charging your phone. I thought you were going down to reception with your charger and plug there. I just got a little bit of a steer that was wrong. But
So you don't think this is the revelation that everyone else thinks?
I think
it
it's
has?
all
'Cause
right.
It's gone wild.
has it really?
Yes, the internet's gone wild with it.
Oh wow! Sometimes I'm glad I'm not on there, but I'm sure it's useful. It's good info for people that haven't got it. I got a big mo.
I feel so patronised.
I got a big Mo
I've never
email.
felt more talked down to. Oh, yes, I have.
Following on from the big Mo is Gary Oldman's sister. The story that Irish playwright Samuel Beckett used to drive Andre the Giant to school has been told to me a few times like I don't know it. I mean, who doesn't? I'll tell you who. Me. Until reading this.
Neither of us knew that.
I don't think that is a big Mo. I
That's
think
not a big moment.
That's a big scoop.
That's a huge surprise.
Yeah.
I'm calling that breaking news. Daisy, have we got a breaking news jingle? No, well, we need to get onto that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to find something that I think will work. But I'll say something. Okay, this is breaking news.
Oh, that's good.
Is that good?
Irish
It goes on a
playwright
bit
Samuel
long.
Beckett used to drive Andre the Giant to school.
Also,
Who knew?
I like this is Absolute Radio here this morning. You're getting all your Samuel Beckett fresh news.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Now, listen, we need to talk about this hotel room life hack, which we've been discussing this morning, because I said I discovered this via Twitter, and it's the knowledge that you can put any card. The lady in question used a Waitrose card, for example.
Natch.
Other stores are available.
Yeah.
Into the power switch slot.
Yeah.
For example, you could put a Boots Advantage card.
I love the fact that you're going to go through them. Blockbuster card, if you're not using that anymore.
Oyster
Blockbuster Video.
card, because the world is your oyster suddenly.
I'd be worried about it wiping those cards, you know. You know when they say, you know when you put
Well,
your...
it's not revisionist, the power socket.
But sometimes hotel room key cards cannot stay in the same pocket as a mobile phone because it makes them go a bit iffy.
I love that Aesop's fable.
Yes. It's a
but-
modern version.
Al, I've had some lovely people getting in touch with me. I'm saying they're lovely because they're offering
agreement.
praise, yeah.
Right.
They say, I never knew about the any card revelation. Eureka, that's from Neil Gilbert. Thank you, Neil Gilbert. And Spooky Fish says he didn't know about the card slot, so I feel we've enlightened our
If you're
readers.
trusting Spooky Fish and Neil Gilbert, then I think you need to look at the company you keep.
Okay.
I'm with 820, who says the key card trick.
820.
820 says the key card trick doesn't always work. It depends on the type of key switch that is installed.
820.
Bit of knowledge there.
A bit of a party pooper there.
Dropping truth bombs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I find it quite life-changing. But while we're on the subject of hotel rooms, I've got a question to ask you.
Oh, right.
And it's not that.
Okay.
I want to ask you something which is to do with uneaten plates.
Oh, yeah.
Uneaten food on plates. So, you know when you finish up your plates?
Yeah.
I want to know, when is the optimum
Talking about
time?
room service.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
When is the optimum time to leave the room service dishes out so that they don't pile up in the corridor and you feel a bit like Elvis? I just always feel a bit sort of It looks a bit sleazy.
That would be a good texting. 8, 12, 15. When's the optimum time to put the tray of, like, burger bun?
Yes.
3 chips and some dip outside?
I want to know, Al. Because I just don't think it's very good for my brand, leaving all these dirty plates outside in the corridor.
Yeah.
But I always seem to get it wrong, and then when I get there the next morning, it's still there, and people give me strange looks.
I don't know, I just put it out. Or I don't. Sometimes I just leave it in the room until I've gone.
I love that about you.
Yeah,
so rock and roll.
I've got a devil-may-care attitude to room service trays. People know that about me.
You're like Axl Rose.
A bit.
You're not like Axl Rose at all. I also have a question I want to ask you about turning down.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not that kind of turning down. I just mean when they come and pull your duvet back.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that hanging there.
Another tease.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
You know who we haven't talked about today, as far as friends of the show go? It's,
Peter the Wild.
No. Prince Hal and Meghan Markle.
I like that you've gone a bit Shakespearean.
Gonna call him Prince
Hal.
I think we should be calling him Prince Hal.
Why does no one call him that? You're right.
I think maybe it's just not the done thing.
Oh, it's just a bit old school.
Perhaps what I've just done is treason, and I'm up for the high jump.
Well, they don't observe the protocol anymore. They hug. They do all sorts.
Well, they are still observing the protocol because they're engaged, Hal and Meg Markle.
Yeah.
And apparently the Queen has now given her approval, and that happens. She's signed a Great Seal of the Realm. This is the joy of the royal family. When they get serious, they do get a bit great Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's so
the
Game
Great
of
Seal of
Thrones.
the Realm. I mean, other people are going to a registry office, but they're asking their gran to sign the Great Seal of the Realm.
Well, she has to give her permission, apparently, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's her formal consent, essentially. I mean, obviously, there's 2,000 Daily Mail comments saying, well, she's done this reluctantly. She didn't want to at all. She doesn't like...
Oh, is that what they've said?
Of course.
I mean, although it is touch and go with pensioners, you've got to catch them on the right day. If they haven't seen Antiques Roadshow, they can be in foul moods.
Well, I can be like that, but I'm not a pensioner. Love it.
Okay.
Love a bit of the Antiques Roadshow.
But she said yes, which is good.
Yeah, she's gone for it.
That's a relief.
And so they've been in the news a bit this week. Prince Harry.
Well, it's Henry. We should say his real name is Henry, after the Hoover, maybe.
Yeah,
he was named
after.
Right.
That's right. Which, Hoovers are actually that's the brand name.
Shut up!
Vacuum,
I didn't know that.
It's a thing.
So Henry the Hoover, and her real name is
what is?
Do you know you can get pink Henrys, can't you? Is that quite? Oh, they're all nodding. That's like my hotel life hack. They all know it. We know about the pink Henrys. She's called Rachel. She's not called Meghan. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Oh, I've told you didn't know about the hotel room key, but you didn't. Well, you know what I mean.
So
her real name's Rachel.
But she's going under her stage name to marry a royal. Well,
I don't know, because those are their real names, Henry and Rachel.
Right.
And I think they sound a bit like the sort of couple that you would meet on holiday.
Right.
You come from Clapham and you try and shake them off a bit.
Yeah.
So I think Meghan and Harry's a bit better.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they're on their way. Like, the Queen has done the bit of admin that they really wanted her to do.
They're on their way. They're like the England team. I like that. But also, I was interested in that name story because did you hear that revelation about Prince William changing his name?
Oh, yeah, what's he been doing? Booking into hotels?
No. When he was at university, when he was at St Andrews, in order not to stand out, he asked people that they referred to him as Steve. Steve. Now, I would suggest that at a place like St Andrews, which is frankly too posh to function, that would make you stand out more being called Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. At St Andrews, in a bar, someone says Steve. Why are all the posh students hanging about with the guy that does the lawns on the golf course?
Also, I like the fact that his name would have been Steve Wales, which basically sounds like a darts player.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a reply. We were asking when is the best time, the optimal time to put your tray out after you've eaten room service with the sort of leftover bits of grub and
That's our texting this morning in the
that
later.
weird sort of big tin thing that they cover up the plate with. You know what I'm talking about?
I can't bear that. The dome.
The dome. The tin dome.
I don't like the tin dome.
Basically, you've got that tray and bits and bobs, and sometimes some condiments, and it needs to go outside, but it doesn't want to stay outside.
Sometimes on a wheelie tray, Al.
Well, here's some response. We've had a solution from Ian Angle, regular.
Okay. I want to do a solution jingle.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm feeling drunk with power this morning.
Aren't you?
What about? I'm going to go for this.
Here it is. Emily, just leave it outside someone else's room. Problem solved.
Do you know, that's
Game changer.
amazing. That's a brilliant hack. I'm going to do that from now on.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but what if you're caught? How embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be a bit embarrassing.
I want to get back to Harry and Meghan, or Prince Hal, as you like to call him.
I do like to call him Prince Hal, yeah.
When you went a bit 16th century on us.
You're going to discuss the raised eyebrow that got in the news.
Well, I do want to talk about that.
Right.
Could you please, you tell us what happened, Royal Correspondent. I can see you.
I'm not quite sure why it happened or got so much news, but basically Liam Payne sung a song, who I don't know Liam Payne's work, but he sang a song. It seemed like it had gone all right. And then he fist bumped a pal in celebration, and apparently Prince Harry sort of gave a raised eyebrow to Meghan Markle, and she giggled. What did he mean by the raised eyebrow? Did he mean that was...
Okay, I'm going to translate that in Heat Radio terms.
Okay.
Basically, Liam did a performance, and then Harry threw shade at him.
He threw shade at him?
Because
he's... shade?
Squad goal Cheryl.
He's what?
Oh, I can't explain. The girls know. He's Team Cheryl.
Oh, okay.
So Liam and Cheryl are together.
Are they?
I don't know if I can start talking about this on Frank's radio show. It is a bit Heat Radio.
Oh, okay.
But he was performing, and Liam and Cheryl are sort of together, but I think they might be in a little bit of trouble at the moment.
Right.
So the suggestion was that Harry was defending Cheryl by raising his eyebrows. Do you see?
Yeah, but it looked like he was raising his eyebrows at the fist bump. It looked like he was anti the fist bump.
Well, yeah, because it was a bit cringeworthy. The fist bump after the performance was a bit like when my niece is with her friends and I go in and say, hey, great tune this. I love Drake. Love Drake.
Not the most embarrassing fist bump in the news this week. What about Theresa May doing one to a member of the public in Salisbury? Like, what is going on in the world?
Hashtag embarrassing, auntie.
Frank
Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I should apologise to a lovely man.
Never apologise.
Never complain, never explain, as I believe Kate Moss's motto is. I should apologise to a lovely man called Steve, who's just tweeted me to say, hey, what's wrong with the name Steve?
Good point.
So apologies, Steve. There's nothing wrong with the name.
Could well be Prince William.
Steve Stewardson. I'm just suggesting that it's not very regal. Okay?
Yeah.
King Steve.
Yeah.
Do you know a King Steve?
No.
I don't. Do you know a Prince Steve? I mean, I could go on, I won't.
Here's some information that people don't know necessarily from one of our emailers.
Yeah.
I found out this week from the font of all knowledge that is Facebook that the numbers on the dials on toasters are for the number of minutes the bread will be cooked for, not some mystical shade algorithm. You're welcome.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
That is a game
The producer's
changer.
shaking her head. And
That
she's
is a
across
game-
a lot of technical things, so
Well,
I
so
think she would know.
That means that if you've got a 3-minute task, you could put the toaster on and then you can drop down and do 3 minutes worth of press-ups or whatever it was that you were considering doing. And you've got,
I like the sound of your kitchen.
The toaster will
Girls
pop.
doing press-ups
I say that because
on the
I once-
kitchen floor.
I say that because I once knew a bloke who was, as they say in the health magazines, shredded. And I said to him, "What exercises do you do?" And he said, "Oh, I don't really exercise." And I said, "Really, you don't really exercise?" And he said, "Oh, every time I put the kettle on for a cup of tea, I just do press-ups all the way through until the kettle is boiled." I was like, that is doing exercise. You do exercise. And he was ripped, guys.
Do you know what? I'm really glad I wouldn't want to go round to his.
No.
I just don't think it would be very relaxing. So what are you up to? Well, I'm okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Are you all right down there? I don't want someone doing press-ups,
Fair
getting
enough.
ripped
We're
while
all
I'm...
different. Anyway,
Well, no,
I'm a little bit concerned
Go
about
on.
Harry and Meghan because I read in the papers that he is teaching her to drive on the left and use a manual, as the Americans would say, a stick-shift car.
I read about this.
And I just do not know why he is doing that job, because it's the beginning of the end of a relationship. I mean, surely they've got the money that they could get some Pass Plus L-plates learner driver, show them how it's done, because it's only a matter of time before he's going, I said third, that's fifth, Meghan!
Well, also, I like the way they described it, Al, which was he is teaching her how to use a manual gearbox, which sounded like she was going to have sort of protective goggles and a jumpsuit.
Yeah. And also,
like
when's she going to drive? She's going to get married to a prince and be driven everywhere.
Won't be driving. It's in case she gets into a little bit of trouble.
Right.
She needs to be able to
Flee.
drive the getaway car.
Okay. Couldn't they just get a chauffeur or a bodyguard to teach her? Well,
It's not a good idea to teach family members or those you love to drive, is it?
No, it's a terrible idea.
I mean, I had a bad enough time with my driving instructor.
I can imagine.
I said, I don't understand how roundabouts work. And he just went, look, he goes after him, goes after him, goes after him.
Yeah, that's a really bad explanation.
And also, don't bring my love life into it. Listen, I think we're going to have to go now on that bombshell. But it's been lovely being here this morning. Coming up next is Sarah Champion. Thank you, Alan, by the way.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Frank. And most of all, thank you, me. Be seeing you.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.